Welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. That was an interesting conversation with our guests. I'm glad to be back on set with Samson this morning to make sense of what's trending in the world of politics. Well done.
Yeah, good to be back and to talk about trends on social media. And this one is really trending actually.
Exactly. And so we have a headline that says court rejects Sowore'S evidence that Tinubu called Jonathan a drunkard. Really, this is not the first time that we're seeing something like this. Recall that about last week or 2 weeks ago, it was about Reno Mokri calling the president a drug lord. So Sowore'S presenting all these evidences just to maybe make a case for himself in the court of law, and then it's something that we really need to look into. Sowore'S lawyer also asked the witness if he was aware that as of 2011, President Tinubu was a major opposition figure, and then insisting that he would not want to comment on such issue. So he now asked a question that Tinubu called the then President Jonathan corrupt and shameless, and the witness answered in the negative. Exactly, and even there was a time they even mentioned that Jonathan was called an expired meat as well. So all of this, evidences in the court of law, will it change anything, for Sowore? And then who is next that Sowore will put on the hot seat?
Well, judging by what happened, Cyril Nosike, who happened to be a witness yesterday, the reason why his evidences were not admitted in court was because he decided to distance himself from anything of such. In fact, he denied some of this and said, look, I wasn't even aware these statements were made. But for me, I think Sowore is running a criminal case like a civil one. And it doesn't always work like that. For someone like him, I think at this time, whether someone calls also person at a point or did this at the time, it doesn't really affect what you are going through at this time. I think he should face his own trial and stop, going about the bush, trying to bring other people to say, look, these are also people who actually did that in the past. This is as good as, you are in a classroom, and then there is a class rep who writes name of people who actually makes noise in the class. And then you are caught making noise, and you are like, oh, Yemi also shouted the other time. Why not write Yemi's name? I mean,
fight for your head.
Fight for yourself. I mean, your name has been written. Just admit that. Oh, yes, I made noise. I was shouting, and then my name is on the book. What will happen now? Other than say, oh, Yemi made noise the other time. She too did that, and some other people also did. I mean, it's just you trying to beat around the bush, maybe delay the case, and eventually it is swept under the carpet. He also made claims about the newest ambassador, that he also made some statements, and you see, these are really not genuine issues at this time. They're just, Sowore is Sowore. He will always find things to distract you. He knows exactly what to say at the court to make them feel like, I mean, it almost became a therapy in court yesterday because it's usually who he is. He knows exactly what to say. He knows what to bring to the court next time to make people feel like, oh, there's still something to discuss. At the end of the day, there'll be a back and forth, and then nobody will really talk about this anymore. So I think he's just trying to buy himself time, trying to make sure that, eventually hands will touch hand, and then they will forget about this. Don't forget that, this is not the first time we have had cases like this. And who has had anything about that? In fact, the most abused president in the history of Nigeria, I think, was Goodluck Jonathan. And I don't think anyone eventually suffered any faith as a result of what they said to him or said about him. So it will always come and go. And this is also a phase. Sowore knows he has escaped, more serious issues than this. You remember the time he protested in Abuja, he was arrested. Eventually, have you heard anything about that anymore? It's still going to be a case that will be put under the bed.
Yes, I think you're very correct. And then it's just that it's funny because we don't know who is next. We don't know who Sowore will bring up next to see that person also said something about the president. And I think those who have said one thing or the other, maybe they should start praying now, because I believe Sowore'S journalists are on the move trying to dig up old videos or old tweets of you saying anything. But at the end of the day, it depends on the court to give the final verdict on this matter, really. And so let's take a few comments before we go this morning on this particular matter. Marka is saying selective judgment bought and paid for by APC. And Naji Evans is saying, is it a lie? Omatosho, show me the law, is saying appeal no good day. Please take the rest.
All right, Oche Chukwudi John says selective judgment, just like the other one. And MC Royale says, I am not surprised. APC is their paymasters. And Adesam says, the way this case is going, this guy might spend some time in jail or pay heavy fine.
Heavy fine.
Well, I think eventually that's where it's going to end, because most of the times these cases are not really, I mean, as long as the president can just overlook such and say, look, I'm not interested in any of this, just to sort it out. Because I don't think the president is really behind any of this. I think it is just some people who are lovers of the president anyway, that they won't push in and push him to say that, Sowore eventually pays for one of his so many adjudged crimes. And that is exactly what is going on.
Exactly. And I think Sowore has like a whole lot of cases before him. So he's accumulating. And then if care is not taking, Sowore will see add to it before the general election. He can decide to go and fight for maybe market women in one area, gather people, and then they stage the process. Remember what he did for the policemen?
That's not new about Sowore.
And then they will now start chasing with tear gas. Remember what happened the last time? You need to see the video online. So Sowore ran at some point.
Some people will say, when trouble sleeps, Yanga Gogo will come. And that's the song of, the late sage, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, who just, got a Lifetime Grammy Award. Yeah. People like that, I consider them to be prophets. When they sing, you draw inspiration. And the Yanga that used to go and wake trouble up, I think Sowore should be tagged Mr. Yanga, because he knows exactly where trouble is. And when he wakes up one day and says, look, I'm looking for trouble today, I mean, he knows what to do. And like this popular, slang on social media, I don't want peace. I want problems all the time. That's what
don't like peace.
He lost.
Do you know there was a time he said they invited him for maybe for an interview. He said he went there with his brush, his cream, and some other things because he knew that they might detain him at the end of the day. That's a prepared man. He's prepared for violence. He doesn't care whether they're going to arrest him or not.
Well, I don't think that is about seeking relevance anymore. I think he enjoys it. Well, we do hope that, someday it doesn't get, serious punishment for what he does and what he loves doing.
Good luck to Sowore and
this will be the convenient place to leave it on this show this morning. So thank you for being with us and making us your morning companion. Do want to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng. And this will be the perfect place to draw the curtains on today's edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. Do well to join us again tomorrow on Daybreak Live Extra right here, the Owambe Friday. Right, of course, you can also join us on all social media platforms, as said earlier. And don't forget to always be a part of this show. Drop your comments. Until tomorrow, we shall be meeting again, same station, same host, and of course, at same time, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Samson Balogun is my name. Keep being good out there. Keep being safe. Bye for now.
All right. Thank you for being a part of the show. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. See you tomorrow.